welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I am here for more Chris Watts talk. I have a lot of comments underneath my videos, so many that I can't really even keep up with them all. Some of those comments have included links to other videos that are helpful for people who are trying to follow the case. And last night I received a link that showed up like several different times. I clicked on it and opened it and watched the video, and I really went into this video with complete denial. I thought, no, I'm not gonna believe this. There's no way that what they're showing can actually be true. There's just no way. I can't like wrap my brain around the possibility of this being true. And so I watched the video, and it's the video of the shadows as Chris is loading the bodies into his truck. So this person had done a video, and I'll include the link in the description, and it shows basically Chris walking to his door. And then there's another shadow. It is a second shadow from what it appears. I mean, it really does. I wanted to not believe this. I couldn't believe it. I want to, with everything in me, to believe that I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, but I don't know how else to explain it. There is a small shadow that comes up from the house direction toward the truck. And it looks like Chris comes toward that shadow. So it's this little shadow that's coming up from the back end of the truck towards his door, and then it looks like he walks towards it and picks up that shadow. It's what it appears to be. It really does. We know that the dog was at the house, so that wasn't a dog that he put in his car. There's people speculating that that was Bella. And if that were the case, maybe she was alive as he was loading up Cece and Shanann. The thought of this is just crazy. This has not been what anybody has been thinking about. We've all been thinking that this happened in the house systematically, one after another. I don't know. Like, I don't want to believe this because I think it's just too crazy, but I'll show you guys the footage. I don't want to show too much of his video because I don't know how much I'm even allowed to show without it, you know, me getting in trouble. So I'm just going to show you the picture of the shadow and as it comes forward. And I don't know, you guys tell me what you think.
There it is, bends down, picks it up. There it is, bends down, picks it up. I'm not convinced there's that in slow motion. You see the small shadow on the left converge with what's on the right. You can just see him in the top corner of the gap under the van there. His shadow is different from the small shadow. Two shadows converge into one.
I don't want to believe that this is the case, that he brought her to the site and killed her there, but I don't know. And the thought of, I can't imagine that he would have pushed her through the well alive. In the autopsy, apparently there was some oil in her, but I mean, I think that they were also explaining that that can just happen with decomposition, that it actually could have gone down into her mouth and it could have gotten into her lungs, that would have just been a normal process as she was decomposing in the oil well. So of course, none of us know for sure. This shadow presents a lot more uncertainty. What is that shadow? I mean, I don't want to believe this. I really don't. But I just saw this last night, and it's making me think, did this happen after? My God, I wish you would just come clean and tell everybody what the hell happened. My God. You know, there's been all this speculation about how everybody died. And I just wanted to show you guys, some people have suggested a sleeper hold. If you're not familiar with what a sleeper hold is, I got some footage off of Steve-O's Instagram. So this was a sleeper hold that Chuck Liddell had done on Steve-O, and it was part of Steve-O's, like, I don't know, he's got like a list of things that he wants to do before he dies. So he wanted to have this done. And so you'll see in this video how quickly it happens. It's very fast. And so it basically just puts somebody in an unconscious state nearly immediately. It's so fast, it actually is like very disturbing to watch. But if somebody's in that state and they're unconscious, then I can imagine that finishing off the act would happen hopefully painlessly for the person. So anyways, take a look at this.
I can choke out somebody. Let's do double trouble.
Wow, that was a good one. That was a really good one. Holy shit, I had no idea where I was. Isn't it amazing? Chuck Liddell, you're badass.
It might explain why Shanann was in her G-string and bra and t-shirt with her makeup on, because a lot of people do not believe that she had gone to bed first. A lot of people believe that he came up from behind and got her like in a surprise attack in some way, because there's no defensive wounds on him at all. There's one scratch on his neck, but that's all that there is. And I'm sure if she had any fight at all, that there would have been a lot more evidence all over his body, and there was just nothing. Okay, a lot of people hate his mom. It's insane. The hate for this woman. Okay, she wasn't the best mother-in-law, clearly. She didn't have a great relationship with Shanann. She didn't go to the wedding. She wasn't there for the birth of the children. This is not that rare for a mother-in-law not to get along with her daughter-in-law for whatever reason it may be. She didn't go to the funeral. Well, yeah, why would she go to the funeral? There's no way they would have been welcome. Clearly, because of the relationship that she had with Shanann prior to that, it wouldn't have been genuine at all. There's like no reason for her to be there. You know, when the whole thing happened with the nuts, and for those of you that don't know, Shanann had a very strained relationship with her mother-in-law from the very beginning. She had been on this trip out to North Carolina visiting her family for 5 weeks. That's when Chris was having his affair with Nicole Atkinson during that whole time. And she decided to go over to her mother-in-law's house to spend some time with her, and apparently her sister-in-law also. And I guess the daughters, I don't know if it's both of them or just one of them, Cece, they have a, maybe it was Bella also, they have a nut allergy. I know, you don't mess with a nut allergy, but maybe possibly the mother-in-law, I know people are not going to like this, but maybe the mother-in-law felt that Shanann was one of those moms that always has to have something special about her child, and you know, she's just pushing the limits. She doesn't get along with her. I mean, she's pushing her buttons, no doubt about it. This is like not something that makes a son kill his family. I'm sorry, like this guy did this on his own. This is all him 100% by himself. His mother is not responsible for this. So she gives the girls ice cream with nuts in it, and Shanann flipped out. And of course, I mean, she was pissed. She wanted her mother-in-law to respect the children's dietary restrictions, and she didn't. And yeah, that was not right. Shanann shared that with, and she left immediately. She was really pissed. And I guess the sister-in-law put more nuts out on the table after. Like, it's just, they're just taunting her. I mean, it's just shitty for sure. But in the text messages between her and Chris after, she was saying to Chris what had happened, and she was like, I've had it, this is enough, you have to say something to your parents, like this is ridiculous. And he totally stood by her, even in the midst of having this affair with Nicole Kessinger, because we all know that's what was happening back at home at that moment. He was very kind to Shanann and said, yeah, you're right. This is wrong. I will talk to her. Like, no problem. Like, he was being a supportive husband for sure. Even though this mother-in-law comes across as being reckless with her grandchildren's diets, I agree. I mean, I know nuts are nothing to mess with. I've seen it happen with people. I know nut allergies are nothing to mess with it. It does actually create like a really quick reaction, and you can end up with hives very quickly. But maybe she didn't believe her 100%. I know that doesn't make it any better. I guess my point is that Chris did stick with his wife in all of this, even though we know that he was having an affair with Nicole at that time. But he did stick with his wife and said, you know, I'm going to talk to my mom, and we'll get this figured out. So he was siding with his wife. He wasn't siding with his mom. So everybody is, we don't know the relationship. We haven't been there for Chris's whole life, but you know, she wasn't raising him to kill puppies. Maybe she's an overbearing, narcissistic person and mother, but all signs about Chris do not point to somebody who would murder their family. So as much as everybody calls him a narcissist, as much as everybody says he's antisocial personality disorder, and you know, he's a covert narcissist, and it's almost like people say these things, and I know I've said it in another video, but people say these things almost like he has this thing, like he had it all planned out and he's always been this way. I don't think he's ever been aware of his personality. I mean, and a lot of people are like, no, he's just dumb. He just did this without thinking. The more I like think about it and the more I'm reading about it, just something else went wrong. This guy had no signs of any of these things before. Okay, so he went with a girl who wasn't feeling well and he pursued her. What's wrong with that? Just being a nice guy who wanted to be with a girl who was sickly at the time when he met her. I mean, that's a nice guy. Like, why does that automatically add up to he had underlying plans and he's hunting out this specific kind of girl? I don't know. Some of this just sounds too crazy to me to believe. I just think like something went wrong and he snapped. I think it's a culmination of events that made him do what he did. And I don't know that all of these words that are thrown out for him truly make sense. I'm not an expert on personality disorders, so I'm not going to analyze that part of him. I guess what just doesn't make sense is here's this guy who seems super loving towards his kids. He is active with them. He is engaged with them. I don't know why people say that he's not. I see him on the floor engaging with his kids. He's walking around downtown Colorado with the kid on his shoulder looking super happy. He gives them their medicine. He knows what to give them for their snacks. He does a lot of stuff with his kids, a lot more than I see other dads doing. He was really involved with them in a way that a caring dad would be. So again, he wasn't an abusive father. From all accounts, from everybody that's seen him, he looked like a very loving, caring, nurturing father and husband. Whether that was all an act in his mind, I just can't believe that. One thing that I have to get off my chest is about Nicole Atkinson, and a lot of people praise her for being this person who, thank God for her, because otherwise, if she hadn't called the police, so much of the evidence would have been gone. He would have gotten rid of everything, and he may have gotten away. There's no way he was going to get away with this. No way. Okay, first of all they had to do, and no offense to Nicole, she's an awesome friend, and it's amazing that she did everything that she did and got everybody involved as soon as they were involved, obviously, because my God, all of the stuff that we saw too, we saw so much from the body cam footage. But, you know, let's say she'd never called. Okay, obviously she's going to come up missing within that day. Somebody's going to call, her parents or something. There was GPS on his truck that links him directly to that site. So they're just going to go where his truck had been and search those areas. They would have found Shanann's body in like a split second, and it wasn't like he'd hidden much evidence. I mean, their sheet was floating all over that site. I mean, how did you not realize, like, just to let that go? I mean, I give her credit for sure, but I definitely think he was going to be caught that day. Once they would have the body of Shanann, that's kind of all they need. Once they put his GPS with her body, he's been in the location of where her dead body is, and they just have to put him at the scene of the crime. That's basically what kept Scott Peterson from being arrested all those months, is because they did not have the bodies. Once the bodies washed up, they put him at the scene of the crime with that fishing trip that he took on Christmas Eve. And then they were after him. That was it. They just needed the bodies. So Shanann's body was not going to be hard to find, but you know, it did happen the way it happened. Obviously, we're very happy that Nicole did all that she did to get them involved as soon as she did. A lot of people have also said that Shanann is a narcissist. So we've got Chris, Shanann, Nicole Kessinger, and Chris's mom, all narcissists. So I guess it's just a big narcissistic stew. Or is that just an easier way to explain what happened? All right, you guys, let me know what you think. Write in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye. Oh, and also, Dr. Phil had reported that the girls had broken bones as they were being squeezed through the top of the oil well. And although that seems really plausible and would make sense, the autopsy report did not show that they had any broken bones. And that would be something that would be very easy to figure out in an autopsy. So it's just interesting to see that even a major network can get information incorrect. I know 2020 in their report, they showed the convenience store footage that wasn't even Chris Watts. So yep, just food for thought.